2021, February 2nd, 5 of my motors broke. There were 3 gears inside of my motor named AX12A, and it broke because of doing so much dynamic motion. So, I started to think about how to make gears more fortified. Heat treatment was the resolution. We can heat treat them to make them more fortified. I was not able to split the motor and pull the gear out, so I just used a bearing steel named SJU2. The reason that I use this is because it can support a large load while maintaining the shape, which is necessary to gear. We are going to heat treat this in one type but different cooling types. First one, I will quench with water, and for the second one, I will air cool the steel. And my hypothesis is that quenches with water will way stronger than air cooled. The reason why I think this is there are mainly 4 types of steel structure, and they're ferrite, austenite, perlite, and martensite. Ferrite is the origin form of steel, and after heating up ferrite until 910 Celsius, it changes to austenite. Rapid cooling of austenite turns into martensite, and slow cooling of austenite turns into perlite. Perlite is weaker than ferrite, which is the origin form, and martensite is the hardest. So the quenched steel is going to be martensite, and air-cooled steel will be perlite. We are going to use an experimental high-temperature heating furnace to heat up until 890 Celsius. I don't have to heat it up until 910 Celsius because SJU2 is steel that can change its form below 900 Celsius. Let's start the experiment. We are going to wait 2 hours after setting the temperature to 890 Celsius.
Two hours later.
Now, the temperature of the experimental high temperature heating furnace is 890 Celsius. So, we are going to put one steel for 30 minutes to make austenite. Let's measure the hardness of non-heat treated steel while waiting for this. This is the Rockwell hardness tester, and the hardness of non-heat treated steel is HRA 63.0. And this is the austenite. And we are going to quench this steel in the water, which is 42 Celsius, to make martensite. You can see the temperature goes up to 46 Celsius and decreases to 44 Celsius. And we have to grind this steel because they may have been a small deformation in this steel. After grinding the steel, also we will specify the hardness by using Rockwell hardness tester. The hardness of water-cooled steel is HRA 81.0. Compared with non-heat treated steel, which is HRA 63.0, the hardness improved a lot. And we are going to put another steel for 30 minutes to make austenite. And air cool this steel until steel is 22 Celsius to make perlite.
Many minutes later.
The hardness of air-cooled steel is HRA 58.7, which is weaker than original non-heat treated steel. And lastly, I grinded my steel with the file tool. For the first one, I grinded the non-heat treated steel. and air-cooled steel, and quench it with water steel. The steel on the top is water-cooled steel, and middle one is the non-heat treated steel, and bottom one is air-cooled steel. Water cooling has the least scratches, and air-cooled has the most scratches. So yes, I succeeded in my science experience. From this experience, I learned I can make gears more fortified and also how to make steel more harder in cooling part. One day, I think I will use this heat treatment thing for other things.